Well, hello, 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 hello out there. How's everybody doing? So everybody's very conservative in New York, Christopher Wright, here to present you with another one of my infamous walk and talk videos. Hope you enjoy the content. Remember to like and subscribe if you do, and hit the bell icon when you're finished to be alerted of future videos. Before I begin, I have a big announcement to make. I just want to say that I will be doing I'll be doing a speech at the Brooklyn Tea Party event in King's Brooklyn Library, and I will be speaking my first public speaking appearance. So I'm very excited about that. It's going to be February 10th of this month, obviously. And I just want to give anybody in the New York or New Jersey area a heads up. So if you want to come out and check out the speech, it'd be greatly appreciated. Now, with that said, what's today's walk and talk going to be about? Oh boy, it's been a week, so you know how time flies. A couple things have popped up, but what I really want to speak on, man, and I have to speak on because it kind of relates to the previous video I did with Diamond Gibson, and it's going to be the whole situation with the governor of Virginia, Ralph Northman is his name. I'm sure you guys heard of it plenty, but I want to speak on him because first and foremost, man, I don't want to hear nobody on the left trying to defend this guy. Nobody. There's nothing to defend. There's nothing you can say. Just accept it and move on because this guy's a racist. I mean, what else do you need to say about this man? I mean, he comes out and he performs. He doesn't perform. They got his yearbook from medical school, and it has him side by side. And you can't really tell who's at a who's who, but one Caucasian gentleman is in blackface, and the other one is in a KKK Klan outfit with the hoodie on and all that good stuff. So they want to talk about Trump's hat being the Klan hood, but whose party invented KKK? And whose party is still coming out, dressing up, acting a fool, representing the KKK? The Democrats. So if you look, and people will try to say, well, this was years ago, you know, he's a changed man now, the whole Robert Byrd technique, I call it. He was a former KKK Grand Wizard, Robert Byrd, and I talked to black Democrats about him. They're like, oh, he changed. That's all it takes to say you changed, and all of a sudden you're not a racist anymore. Like, I think that's something's kind of ingrained sometimes, you know what I mean? But anyway, so they say, oh, he's changed. That was years ago. And if you look at the date of when he was in medical school and that photo was taken, it was 1984. Okay, now, I'm showing my age a little bit here, but I was born in 83. December 11th, 83, Sagittarius, for those out there who want to know. And I was 1 year old when that picture was taken. So I'm not saying that I'm a young man, but I'm not going to come out and say that I'm old man River either. Like back in my day, I'm not that old yet. And so this is not a long time ago in terms of history that he made this photo. And there's someone say, well, he was still young, he was still a kid, he was ignorant, he wasn't around a lot of blacks, yada, yada, yada. I can't remember the exact names of the schools, but if you look at the area of Virginia that he grew up at and where he went to high school, it was 50% black area that he grew up in a black town. And then he graduated from high school. He was one of few, if not the only white student that graduated in high school from his class. So he was around plenty of black people growing up. And so you can't say this whole, he was, country bumpkin, not around any other minorities, and he was acting stupid. No, he grew up around plenty of blacks. So he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly who he was disrespecting. So I don't want to hear this whole, he didn't know any better stuff. He knew exactly what he was doing. It's very clear. So just want to get that out there. And if you look at what, CNN did, I don't know if you guys saw it, but CNN, when they talked about, first they came out bashing the guy. And, after bashing the guy, switch hands here. They came out and said, oh, Don Lemonhead and all those clowns, and they came and, played the whole racist game and all that good stuff, which I have honestly, that's the one few times seen it. I don't mind when they just pull the man's card when it comes to race. But if you look at the big picture, man, when they posted the video of the man, speaking at a conference, they labeled him as a Republican underneath his name. So even the left, man, when it's there put in their place, it's obvious that there's racism going on. They still can't admit it, man. They still just can't come out and say, you know what? They said it was wrong. They couldn't come out and fully vilify this man and just say he was a Democrat. At the end of the day, they had to say, oh, no, he was a Republican. And I'm sure they're going to say, oh, it was a mistypo and all that stuff like that. Come on, man. That's a heck of a typo right there. Mislabeling somebody's party. And I told you guys in my last video about the Democratic Party, man, the history. I mentioned Margaret Sanger when it came to, because we were talking about the late-term abortion issue, and Planned Parenthood came out. And remember, this is the governor that when he, not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, he came out and said he's okay. He wants late-term abortion in Virginia, and up to 40 weeks, which is when the woman starts dilating. And then he said that, the baby is born, it's still alive. He thinks it should be resuscitated and, go through the proper procedures. And then after the baby's life is saved, then it's up to the mother to decide what to do with that baby after that. What? Are you kidding me? Which is, like I said, again, murder. This is murder, people. How else you want to say it, man? And he's totally okay with it. And what a shocker, the party that started the KKK, the party that started Planned Parenthood with Margaret Sanger to start black genocide. Now they have a man running who's A-okay with the late-term abortion, who's a Democrat. And when, when confronted, he tried to switch it around and say, oh no, my words are misinterpreted. It's like, no, man, this is all repeated history, bro. I keep telling people all the time that Dixiecrats are our Democrats. They've never changed. They are the same party with the same mentality. It's just they switched up their style a little bit, man. But the outcome they want is the same, which is to eliminate the black community, man. So this guy, and if you remember, not to mention this as well, never forget when that guy ran against his Republican candidate, I believe his name was Ed Gillespie, who was running against him in the primary. Remember that commercial? He's the one now, the ad that came out that showed there's a guy walking with he's driving a truck, and it had a Confederate flag on the back. And while you're driving through the neighborhood, you saw all this black youth, Latino youth, minority youth, like kids running away from the truck with the Confederate flag, and pretty much saying like, this is like what Republicans represent. They represent racism. And this guy was obsessed with race. If you look at his campaign against Ed Gillespie, he was always bringing race into the issue, trying to, call this man a racist, all this stuff like that. And like I said, when Democrats keep accusing you of something or keep attacking you of something, 99.9% of the times, they are guilty of what they're attacking you for. And everybody knows that's how a liar works. Someone who's a liar, who's a manipulator, they will confront with a particular thing, accuse you of something, and just stick to that. And if you go behind closed doors, usually they're the ones who are committing it. That's why they're so adamant about it, and they know so much about it, because they are that individual. And this is a perfect example with Ralph Northman and what he's up to, man. And if you look at even within his own party, I mean, it's a chance the sun's in your eyes a little bit. In his own party, he had that black gentleman, Justin Fairfax, who was running for governor of Virginia. And when he was running, if you look at his campaign ads, at the very beginning, they would have him listed as one of the candidates, but towards the end, they just totally removed the guy, which shows me like, the area that they're running for governor is an area of Virginia where it's a lot of, high-class citizens, a lot of Caucasians living in that area who, highly paid, well-off, and they're liberals. And look who they don't want even to consider as an option is Justin Fairfax, who was just a black Democrat who's running. And there's also, I'm bad with names, there's a black gentleman in the Republican Party that was running against Ralph Northman. And when they met on TV, they sat down and did an interview together. And at the beginning of the interview, the black gentleman reached out to shake Ralph Northman's hand. And Ralph Northman didn't even acknowledge him. Like, he looked straight ahead like the guy didn't even exist. And then people say, well, maybe he didn't notice. You saw the guy actually touch him as well. They say, hey, man, come here, let's shake hands, like gentlemen. And Ralph Northman, again, just kept looking straight ahead like he didn't exist. So I keep telling you guys, man, the Democrats keep showing their true colors, no pun intended. And people keep ignoring. And people keep acting, and the black community will be the first ones to come out and defend this nonsense, which just shows you how brainwashed they are. So, I had to talk about this subject, man, because how it relates to the last video I did with Diamond. And, the Democrats are really showing who they truly are, man. And the Trump derangement syndrome has affected them to the point where they're just like, they don't care anymore. Where they're like, this is what it is. Deal with it. What are you going to do? Not vote for us? And they're pretty much talking to minority communities that are American citizens here, pretty much saying, like, you guys are going to vote for us regardless. They're telling you pretty much. And if you continue to vote for them, man, you're just as bad as they are, man. We were committing to acts. So, it's time for the country to wake up, man. It's time for the Democratic Party to wake up. It's time for minorities in the community to wake up, man, because you're getting played. You are totally getting played, and it's obvious now, man. Like, you even got openly racist individuals dressed in blackface with Klan hoodies. I mean, what else do you need to see? So, you know, it's one of those things where it's just, you know, we got to wake up, man. We got to look at the bigger picture. And that's what I want to do for today's Walk and Talk. That's the message for the day. It's just, you know, the Democrats have never changed. They're still that same party. They used to lynch our ancestors from trees and so on. And you know what they did to the Irish and all these other communities that came over here. You know, the Indians, on and on and on, Native Americans. Democrats, Democrats, Democrats. Or I call them Demon-crats with the KKK. That's what they are. So, everybody enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed the Walk and Talk. You know, just want to say, with the same ending I always do, because it's the most important part, God bless everybody out there. And of course, God bless America. Adios.